Hey everybody, welcome back to Everyman Prepping. I'm Seth, and today we're going to start off talking about the sun and some solar weather we have coming. Right now, a coronal mass ejection, or CME, is hitting the Earth. It's from an X-class solar flare that launched on Sunday. So we're going to talk about that and what you need to get ready for, because the chance of grid down because of that is probably higher than an actual EMP. In today's world, they're both possibilities, but with the solar cycle and the pole shift, that kind of stuff going on, might have a better chance of a CME taking us out than a EMP from a nuclear warhead. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to go into some more information coming out from the Secret Service about Trump. And finally hit on some economic news, because I always like to touch on that, because I want to get the word out about the economic problems that we're going to be having very soon here. Although the media and mainstream and legacy media, they're going to talk about after Wednesday about how great the economy is going to be because they're going to lower rates. But I need you to see past that gaslighting and the dog and pony smoke and mirrors to see what's really going to happen. So we're all ready for it. So let's start off here looking at the sun. Here we go. This is our sun. And as you can see, this is showing the sunspots. And this sunspot group here, 3825, you can zoom in on it. There you go. It launched the 4.5 X-class flare on Sunday. It's, like I said, hitting as I'm recording this video, hitting the Earth right now, which is about 7:45 Eastern time or so. The KP index hasn't shown any change in the solar activity yet, but that should change relatively soon. Now, 4.5 solar flare wasn't totally Earth directed. It's a glancing blow. As you can see, let's go here and look. There's the KP index. Let's refresh really quick. And we're still very low. We're not even at geomatic store in 1 yet. Yellow would be a 1. They say we can get up to a 3, which would be a KP7 way up here. We'll see if that happens in the next few hours. But nothing scary about this one. But that sunspot group, going back here, this sunspot group is big. It's complex. It's turned, Monday night, Tuesday into Wednesday. It's going to be directly Earth facing. If we get an X20, X30 out of it, which is totally possible, and this solar maximum we're in right now, that would probably take out the grid. So you need to be ready. Make sure you have backup power of some sort. Do you have because the CME is not going to kill your generator. The CME is not going to kill your solar panel based on the research I've done and what I've looked at. It's not going to kill your batteries or flashlights, whereas the EMP will. So have, some kind of energy backup source. If you can get the cheapest solar battery bank, battery pack backup, you can get the cheapest one of those. Whether it's only 200 watt hours, 300 watt hours, something a little bit to charge everything, some batteries, some flashlights, all that stuff. Make sure you have something just in case that goes down, because this is getting to be a bigger possibility with the pole shift going on, the weakening magnetic field. As that magnetic field of the Earth gets weaker, a smaller and smaller X-class flare can take out everything. And then when the lights go out, you know what happens then. We're all on Mad Max after that. So I just want to keep you up on that. Like I said, this one's not scary. 4.5, glancing blow. KP index is low still, but it's a good reminder. Focus on some energy. Why don't you do some energy preps? What are you going to do if the lights go out and they're not coming back on? Do you have generators, solar, battery? What are your family SOP for that? What's your SOP, standard operating procedure for your family when that happens? Especially if you're not home. Where are your rally points? Where are you meeting at? All that good stuff. Good time to review that right now, since we have one of these events to bring it to our forefront. Moving on from that, we have the Secret Service. This is the acting U.S. Secret Service director, and he's kind of foreshadowing. He's telling us basically what he thinks is going to happen. Maybe he has intel, maybe he's just guessing, but I think he's basically telling the people, us, me and you, what's going to happen. So when it does happen, they can say, well, we kind of warned you. And let's listen to what he says here. Let's listen in really quickly here. Let's turn this on so we can hear it. There we go. Here we go.
Reactive model and get to a readiness model. There could be another geopolitical event that could put the United States into a kinetic conflict or some other issue that may result in additional responsibilities and protectees of the United States Secret Service.
Okay, so what did he just say there? He said there could be another event, geopolitical. Okay, so, that could be homegrown, could be foreign actors. So an event that puts the United States into a kinetic conflict. We always say kinetic on here. You need your kinetic weapon. What are we talking about? A pew-pew, right? So a kinetic conflict with some other, he kind of stutters, some other issue. So we get in a kinetic conflict with another country. we in a kinetic conflict with ourselves in a civil war? Is there a kinetic conflict with terrorist groups? What is he talking about? He's talking about a kinetic event happening, and then he says may result in additional responsibilities excuse me, and protectees of the Secret Service. So what additional protectees of the Secret Service? Continuity of government. That's what makes me come up with this. Write in the comment section below what you think. Why do that? Hit that subscribe, share, all that YouTube stuff. Thanks for everybody that's joined us recently. But additional responsibilities, that's what it calls out to me. And protectees. Do we have continuity of government? Do we have to get all of the senators, because they're so important, and congressmen into the mountain somewhere, wherever they want to hide them underground? Do they need to get other high-ranking officials? Do they need the scientists? Whoever, is the Secret Service going to be tasked with, the end of the world, gather the important people, put them underground for safekeeping lists? Is that what he's talking about? I don't know, but he's definitely foreshadowing on something. So something to think about that. He's talking about in the near term, not short term. He's talking near term. So something to keep in mind while you're out and about doing your stuff, that this gentleman from the Secret Service acting, he does a lot of intel. He's got a lot of information. Obviously, he's protecting, former President Trump and everything, and the current President Biden and all the other Obama and all them. He's in charge of all that. So he's privy to a lot of information. He's telling you that another Kinetic event could happen, and us in the Secret Service here, we might have to go out and do some extra stuff. So that sounds like a big event to me. So not sure what's going to happen, but that caught my attention. And then lastly, let's talk about this economic. I've been telling you that recession's coming, showing you stuff. Reuters here decided to gaslight everybody. What's happening in Vegas shows the Fed's soft landing is a good bet. Before, we're raising interest rates so we can have a soft landing with inflation. Now we have to lower interest rates so we can have a soft landing. Everything they do is for a soft landing, if you get the notion. But they're saying here at a glance, Nevada's 5.4% unemployment rate is the highest among 50 states. But don't pay attention to that. It's always high. Even though they say, what's happening in Nevada shows that soft landing is coming, but, they want to address it. Don't worry about that. What they do say, though, is whether it's the steady arrival of guests eager to drop some discretionary income that states more than 200 casinos, or the recent surge of construction, the economy is doing well. This is a quote, by the way. Quote, the economy is doing well. Visitation is up, profits are up, and growth is up. And this is Ted Papageorge, the Secretary-Treasurer of the influential Culinary Workers Union, which represents 60,000 people in Vegas. So according to him, life is great, which means we're in for a soft landing. I wouldn't believe a word of this guy is saying, not only because it's his job to pump it up for the union, is because, well, he's a union rep and, the election's coming up, right? Anyway, going on further in this article, we see here, this chart shows how many months it is taken from the time of the first interest rate hike to the first cut. And you'll notice something here. Here we have 97 and 98. There was 18 months before the first interest rate hike to the cut. What do we have? Giant recession. 2000, 2001, 8 months. That was the crash that was the dot-com explosion and bust. 2006 to 2007, there's 15 months. And before they started lowering in 2007. Great financial crisis of 2008 happened. See the trend here? Right now we're at 14 months. And what are they going to do? They're going to cut on Wednesday, half a point, if not 3/4 point. The bunch of senators are, begging the Fed for 3/4 point. Heck, why don't we just go a full point, just get this party started? But what's going to happen? Giant recession. That's what happens every single time. And they're just trying to get you to not pay attention to that, because that's what's going to happen. Lastly, we have this chart here. You can see the black line. That's interest rate hikes or cuts way back here during the COVID times. And these colored lines are different in inflation measures. And we all know they say topped out at 9. We all know it's probably double that. Just double all these colored lines. But as you can see, they started hiking when inflation was super high. Probably waited too long. And they did it too slow. And then it's been flat it's been flat since July of last year. For about a year, it's been flat. And inflation's been, kind of flat, going down a little. But do you believe these numbers? We are going into, once again, the election cycle. So, they say it's going down, but, it's remaining flat. So what happens when they start cutting? Well, as you can see down here, as you cut, these nice colored green bars are going to shoot up with higher inflation. And that's what's going to happen. And they take that half to 3/4, and then another quarter or so, maybe a point by the end of the year, maybe a point and a half. You're going to see a nice, huge increase in inflation. That's coming. So just want to warn everybody out. Make sure you got this. Share this with people they know. Share it with your friends and family, just so they're prepared. They need to put some cash, have some, dry powder on the side, have some cash on the side, have some assets, some precious metal, something. Heck, just buy food and water and some clothing. Winter clothing. Winter's coming. I haven't done my winter videos yet, but make sure you got all your winter stuff ready to go. Clothes, hats, extra blankets, wool blankets. I'm a huge fan of wool blankets. And as I showed you this before, this is the undefeated chart of predicting recessions. When you dip below zero on the 10-year minus the 2-year yield, a few months later you have a recession. Well, we are firmly above that zero line, because that's when it happens. When you come back over the zero line, that's when all these gray bar recessions happen. And as we zoom in here, let's zoom in. You can see we've been over the line for a while now. And so, well, what happens? Well, a recession comes. So it will come. There's not going to be a soft landing. It's coming. Just prepare yourself. I know it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse, but I just want to make sure everybody understands that. Lastly, let's talk about this. Putin has decided that he's going to order the Russian army to grow more. It's going to be the second largest behind China. He's going to order an additional, 180,000 troops to his 1.5 million already. Why is he doing this? Is it because they're losing the war? Yeah, they run out of men. Everybody's getting killed in Ukraine. No, that's not why. He's doing this because he knows the war is expanding. More war is coming, and he's getting ready for it. He needs to make sure. Let's look at something more exciting. Let's look at this picture at least. He knows that he needs more troops because, well, there's NATO staring at him, and he knows it's going to expand. He's getting ready for it. He maybe needs larger forces to go through Ukraine and hold all of Ukraine up to Poland. I don't know, but the fact he's growing the army to just be second to China, and we know China's chomping at the bit for Taiwan, well, you hear the U.S. increasing their numbers? No, the U.S. can't increase their numbers. They're having problems getting enough people to join. They can't get enough people into the woke, progressive, we don't care if you're confused about who you are, army, come join us anyway. United States is on the decline in numbers, where else you have Russia and China pumping their numbers. So obviously that's not good. And that's the last thing I had to tell you about. I just wanted to put that out there so you can see how our enemies, the enemies of the United States government, we'll put it that way, are getting ready for a conflict to happen. But you don't hear that here. You don't hear it spoken of. So that's why you need to get ready yourself. And that's why we do what we do. That's all I have for you. Hopefully you got something out of this. And until next time, keep your ear to the ground, head on a swivel.